The sun was just breaking through the mist as Liam Carson stepped out of the barn, boots thick with soil and hands still stinging from yesterday's labor. His family's farm sat quietly in a forgotten valley, the kind of place not found on tourist maps or campaign trails. Here, tractors were older than most marriages and cell service was a myth. Liam was 16, broad-shouldered, sharp-eyed, and quieter than most boys his age. He spoke when it mattered. The rest, he worked. He wasn't poor in character, just in cash. His father, a proud but aging farmer, had raised him on grit and humility. His mother passed when he was 8. Since then, it had been father, son, and earth. That morning, after feeding the hens and checking the fencing, Liam grabbed his backpack. He'd be late for school again. The old bike he rode only had one gear that worked, and it wasn't built for hills. He didn't complain. That wasn't in him. By the time he hit the main road, his boots were damp from dew, and his breath was visible in the cold air. As he pedaled past the ridge, something unusual caught his eye. A blue coach bus, parked awkwardly at the side of the narrow road. Hood popped, hazard lights flashing. A crowd of passengers stood in a loose circle nearby. They looked frustrated, anxious, and out of place. They were not locals. Liam slowed down. Something felt off. A man in a suit paced near the road on the phone, barking at no one in particular. The driver stood with his hands on his hips, staring at the open engine like it had insulted him. Liam noticed the smoke. Not steam, smoke. He dropped his bike and jogged over. "Excuse me, sir. That's an oil belt. She's burning through." The driver looked up and blinked. "And who are you? Farmer boy?" Liam nodded. "That belt's stripped, and she's not going anywhere," he added. "You're sure?" one of the suited men snapped. "We've got a schedule." Liam shrugged. "You can wait here 3 hours for a tow, or I can fix it." The men exchanged doubtful glances. One chuckled and then said to Liam, "You gonna fix a federal vehicle with a screwdriver and a prayer?" Liam didn't smile. "I have tools at my place just a quarter mile up the road." There was hesitation. And then a voice, soft, clear, and composed. "Let him try." The group parted slightly, and out stepped a girl, no older than Liam. Neatly dressed. Not overdressed, but not from around here. She had the kind of quiet confidence that made people pause. The driver nodded reluctantly. "5 minutes, kid." Liam ran. He returned minutes later with a toolkit slung over one shoulder and a length of braided wire. He worked fast, clean, didn't say much. He replaced the belt with a makeshift wire, flushed the line with water, patched a hose, and did something to the fuel line no one quite followed. The engine rumbled to life. It was crude, temporary, but it worked. The crowd clapped awkwardly. The driver blinked like he'd seen a ghost. The man in the suit who mocked him is now speechless. Liam wiped his hands on his jeans, nodded once, and turned to go. "Wait." It was the girl. She stepped forward and offered her hand. "You saved our trip. Thank you." Liam shook it gently and gave a gentle reply. "Glad I could help," he said. He picked up his bike and started walking. No last word, no request for payment. He didn't even ask where they were going. What Liam didn't know, what none of the locals knew, was that the bus was part of a security-shielded outreach tour for a very specific teenager, Elena Marsh, daughter of President Walter Marsh. She had insisted on a low-profile visit to rural schools and agricultural centers as part of her civics project. No media, no cameras, just her alongside 2 aides, a driver, 3 Secret Service agents, and a faulty coach bus in the middle of nowhere. That night, Liam returned home to fix the fencing that had snapped in the East Field. His father didn't ask why he was late. Liam didn't mention it. The moment passed. 2 days later, Liam was in the chicken coop when it passed over the barn. He stepped out, blinking into the sunlight, but froze when he saw 4 black SUVs pulling into the gravel drive. Men in black suits, earpieces, and then Elena Marsh stepped out. She wasn't alone. A tall man followed, mid-60s, strong posture, gray suit. The President of the United States. Liam's father came running, wiping grease from his hands. Secret Service agents stepped forward. "Sir, please remain calm," one of the men said, but the president simply smiled. "Mr. Carson, we came to thank you." Liam's voice caught. "I just patched a belt." "No," Elena said. "You saved more than that." The president continued. "You showed something rare, son. Initiative without pride, skill without expectation, kindness without a camera." Then he turned to one of the agents. "Show him." From the nearest SUV, a briefcase emerged. Inside, a scholarship letter, a full ride to the top mechanical engineering school in the country, with housing, equipment, travel stipend, and a side note. Elena had personally requested a letter of recommendation for the White House's Rural Development Internship. Liam didn't speak for a long time. His father placed a hand on his shoulder. His eyes were glassy. The president turned to leave, but added one final thought. "I believe the country could use more minds like yours. Practical, grounded, honest." Then he paused. "And Elena's insisted the bus be repaired to your specs permanently. Something about not trusting federal maintenance again." As the motorcade pulled away, neighbors peeked from windows and hedges. The boy no one noticed, who fixed broken things and kept his head down, had just shaken the hand of the most powerful man in the country. 1 week later, at school, Liam was called to the front office. Standing beside the principal were a photographer, a guidance counselor, and a woman from the Department of Agriculture. They asked for a statement, a press photo, a copy of his transcript. Liam declined the photo, but he left behind a quote on the office board. Scrawled in blue marker, in his tidy print, "Sometimes you don't need a title to lead. Sometimes you just need the tools and a reason to care." In a world where cameras chase credit, one quiet teen proved that real strength doesn't ask for permission. It simply shows up when needed. Liam didn't wear a suit. He didn't demand applause. He just saw something broken and fixed it. And without knowing it, he fixed something far bigger than an engine. He reminded a president, and maybe the rest of us, that humility is a kind of genius the world desperately needs. What would you have done in Liam's place? Would you stop to help, even if no one knew? Share your thoughts in the comments. Your story might inspire someone else. If this story moved you, please like, share, and subscribe. It helps us keep bringing stories that remind the world what really matters. This is Nameless Archive, where quiet moments make the loudest echoes.